Hello everyone and welcome back to Half Magic Tarot. Today's pick a card reading is a message from the universe. So something that you need to hear right now. There are 4 piles to choose from. I suggest selecting the pile based on the pile marker that sparks a memory in you. So for example, I would choose pile 1, ground and center, because the person on this card is in mountain pose and yoga. I do a lot of yoga. I love doing mountain pose, love a sun salutation. It just reminds me of all the times where I did it and then I just feel such a release afterwards. So I will put the timestamps in the description down below. Feel free to pause the video now to select your pile and let's get started. If you selected pile 1, ground and center, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 8 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, the Star, and the 4 of Wands. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Herbal Kitchen and Homeland. Okay, my pile 1. So if you selected this pile, you are really my go-getters, ambitious, very hardworking pile. And the message from the universe for you is that the thing that you have been working so hard for, you don't have to stress yourself out about it or discount other important areas of your life in order to achieve it. So your first card in this spread is the 8 of Cups, and this is a card about transitioning, and it's not necessarily transitioning away from something that was bad for you or not serving you. It's just thinking that there's something better out there for you. And so for a lot of you, I'm hearing that this in particular is you maybe trying to prove yourself in a workspace. So you are taking on more responsibility. You're trying to get this thing done to kind of prove yourself and prove that you are like very competent. You deserve a raise or a promotion. For others of you, this is maybe academic related. And for others of you, I'm hearing for a small portion of you, this is particularly in regards to like a physical transformation, like weight loss, if that's something that you're actively trying to do, where maybe you are healthy where you are and you're not necessarily uncomfortable in your body, but you have goals to maybe shape it a certain way or change your looks in some kind of way. And so for a lot of you, you kind of set out on this journey. You made a plan. You started doing these things to ultimately reach this end goal, which was kind of the fantasy you had in your mind of being really well received in the workplace, or losing X amount of weight, or looking this way, or feeling confident in your studies, whatever that is. And although you have the drive and the vision for it, it hasn't been easy necessarily with this 10 of Wands here. This is a card about feeling burdened. And if you look at this card, the person is very close to the home, the castle that they are trying to reach with all these sticks. So they know that the end is in sight, but it's also a long journey, and it does get hard, and it does kind of feel sometimes like you've taken on too much responsibility, or you've put too much pressure on yourself. And because of that, it can take away the joy of the journey, and it can make you lose focus on the reason why you started the journey in the first place. So for example, maybe you ended up working way late hours. You're not taking care of yourself outside of work. You feel like all you do is work and go to sleep. And because of that, you feel like, I don't even know why I started doing this in the first place. I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe it's the same thing with your academics. If it's weight loss, maybe you feel like you've become too concerned, or you've become so obsessed with working out or counting calories that you kind of beat yourself up if you miss a day. And the thing that the universe wants you to remember is that progress is not necessarily linear. It's okay to have days where you are giving different percentages of yourself, because some days we can give 110% and we feel good doing it and we enjoy doing it, and some days we're operating at a much lower level, like we just don't have the energy or the time to do it. And so sometimes you have to pull back and you have to be a little more gentle with yourself and allow yourself to have off days or days where you're not doing as much work. And that's also coming through in this middle card in your spread, this Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles is a card that is about hard work. And so again, I do think because of this journey, you have been working very hard and putting a lot of pressure on yourself. But the Eight of Pentacles also indicates someone who is enjoying their work. So I think when you are not overwhelmed, when you're not putting so much pressure on yourself, when you're finding a good balance between this thing that you're focusing on and also living your life, these other areas of your life, the things that you enjoy, you feel a lot happier doing the work because you have more energetic space to devote to it. Whereas if it's the only thing that's on your mind, it's the only thing that you're focusing on, it becomes very easy for you to be frustrated and feel like a machine, feel like a robot, feel like your feelings are being discounted, or like you don't have the space to experiment or live out other areas of your life. And so, again, the universe's really big message here is that you need to find the balance. That's where the star comes in. If you look at this card, this person has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. So this is the balancing of emotions, which is represented by water, and the practical, pragmatic side of the situation, which is represented by land. And the star is also a card of wish fulfillment. So the way to get to your end goal, the way to reach this thing that you have been dreaming of, is not to overwhelm yourself and overburden yourself, because that's the quickest way that you are going to be burnt out and just want to give up entirely. The best way to do it is to find a really good balance and allow yourself some levity. Allow yourself some grace when it comes to needing breaks or needing time focusing on other things. And ultimately, again, you end up with the star, the wish fulfillment, and the Four of Wands here, which is a card about celebrations of long-term stable things. So again, if you find this balance, the end result will be much more sustainable because you won't have had broken your back to get there, basically. So for example, if you're trying to lose weight, don't, go completely crazy and try to work out 5 hours a day, because that's not sustainable and you're going to give up. Instead, maybe say, I'm going to work out, 30 minutes, 3 or 4 days a week. Or I'm going to try to go on a walk every day. And allowing yourself that grace, instead of putting pressure on yourself to be kind of all or nothing, is going to be the thing that makes it a lot easier to sustain and allows you to be victorious in the end. And that applies for things other than weight loss. That was just a really big example that I heard as I was looking at this pile. It's also coming through with your pile marker, this ground and center, which is really about connecting back to your roots, tapping back into how you're feeling, really paying attention to what your body is saying to you. So if you're really burnt out and exhausted, find a way to tap back into the world around you. Don't let your thoughts overwhelm you. Don't feel beholden to these imaginary restrictions or these kind of impossible standards that you have held yourself to, because you are a person and you are allowed to rest and find a moment of peace and find these things that ground you and make you feel more centered within yourself. So your first Witch's Wisdom card is Herbal Kitchen, which says Alchemist. And this is really about being able to create things from scratch. You have all this power. You are already in the process of creating this life that you've envisioned for yourself, or achieving this thing that you've envisioned for yourself. And you have the necessary ingredients to do it. You just have to be more patient with yourself. And your second Witch's Wisdom card is Homeland Foundation, which is kind of a card about thinking back to where you came from. So this might be a really good way to ground yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed, is to take a break and think about how much progress you've already made. And taking a break now will not diminish that progress or make it go away. It's okay to have a break. It's okay to have a day to rest. You are fine. You have come such a long way, and you will continue to progress as long as you treat yourself nicely throughout this journey. All right, my pile ones, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 2, Inspiration and Courage, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Ten of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the World. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Samhain and Book of Shadows. All right, my pile 2s. So, what does the universe have to say to you? For a lot of you, you have been experiencing a lot of change in your life, or you feel like you're on the precipice of change or needing a change. Either way, it feels like something is no longer working for you, or something has ended in your life, and it's really up to you to decide how you will move forward. And that's coming through in this first card in your spread, this Ten of Swords, which is really a card about defeat, loss, death. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing, but I think for a lot of you, this has been causing you a lot of anxiety. So for example, this could have been a breakup. This could have been you getting laid off from your job. This could be about you moving. It could be about a friendship ending. Just generally something changing in your life. And I think it's difficult for you to embrace change because you have a little bit of fear of the unknown. You're scared that the thing that comes after this will not be good for you, or it will not be fulfilling for you. And because of that, you're very hesitant to move on or move forward. And that's really coming through also in these two cards in your spreads, this Knight of Swords and this Knight of Cups, because I see this as your two conflicting ideologies. And this is really the primary message that the universe has for you, is that you can either choose to embrace this Knight of Swords energy in yourself or this Knight of Cups energy in you. So if you fall into your Knight of Swords energy, which is someone who is pretty critical, so maybe you keep people at a distance, you constantly tell yourself all the things that could go wrong with it, you try to emotionally distance yourself from the people and places that you want, you constantly think poorly, or you're very critical of yourself and others and the potential scenario that comes after this change. This kind of pessimism or glass half empty outlook that you have is ultimately going to lead you where this Knight of Swords is looking, which is towards this Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is a card about feeling like you have been left behind. You don't have anyone to help you. You don't have anyone supporting you. You feel like you are out in the cold. You feel like you don't have any emotional support. You don't know where to go. You might feel a little wounded emotionally. And the other side that you can embrace is this Knight of Cups, which is someone who is creative, who follows their inspiration, who leads with their heart, who chooses to be optimistic. And this Knight of Cups is pointing towards the world. So if you choose to take this path, and that's what the universe is encouraging you to do, is to embrace change with optimism, with creativity, and allow yourself to see where the journey takes you before discounting all of it or pushing things away out of fear, you end up with the World. Now, the World is the last card in the major arcana of the tarot, and the World is a card that is about completion and victory and success. And if you look at this card, this person is surrounded by laurel leaves, which are traditionally signs of success, and this is a card about leadership. So if you move through the world after this change, if you embrace this change with optimism and allow yourself to see where it takes you, you will end up a lot more successful and happier than if you restrict yourself or don't allow yourself to follow your inspiration or your impulses. If you restrict yourself or tell yourself that nothing ever works out for you, you're kind of going to be living in a self-fulfilling prophecy. So really the universe is encouraging you to let go of some of your doubts and to let go of some of your boundaries, the walls that you've put up to push people and things away. And that's also coming through in the pile marker that you selected, which is Inspiration and Courage. And I actually want to read you a little excerpt from the guidebook for this. So this says, life is full of challenges. Some of them we take on willingly. Some of them come out of nowhere when we least expect them. Good or bad, happy or sad, all those things that challenge us also give us the opportunity to grow stronger, to push our boundaries, and move out of our comfort zones, to reach deep inside or reach out towards others. Whether you are seeking inspiration for work or play or dealing with illness or grief, don't underestimate the power of your own thoughts. So again, change is inevitable. Sometimes bad things happen to us. Sometimes we are put into uncomfortable situations, but it's really up to you whether or not you are going to make the most of it. And the universe is really encouraging you to, because this can be a really great opportunity for growth. We also have in your Witch's Wisdom card, the first card here is Samhain, which says death. And in particular, this card can sometimes indicate to me someone who is resisting change, because death in the tarot is really about transformation and rebirth. So this is you refusing to grow or being very hesitant to embrace change. And because of that, you might be falling back into pessimistic patterns, or you might be holding yourself back. And the reality of the situation is, and it says this in the second card, that you have this Book of Shadows secret, is that you have all of this knowledge already. You have everything that you need to succeed. You have everything to make things work out for you. You just have to embrace it and allow yourself to uncover and have faith in your own ability to embrace change and accept change and to carve out a path. I just saw the imagery of someone like in the nighttime where it's really dark outside and you can't really see what's in front of you, but you have like a light or a lantern or something, and you're holding it in front of you so you can see maybe like 2 steps ahead, and you don't know what's at the end, but you can make little steps and be hopeful that what you find when you get there is going to be worth it. And I think it will be, especially with this World card here. So again, your message from the universe is to embrace optimism in the face of change, and in particular in the face of change that might be really emotionally painful for you, because dwelling on it is not really giving you any favors, and it's making you feel more isolated, and that's just not the reality of what your situation is. All right, my pile twos, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 3, make a move. Welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 6 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, Judgment, the 5 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Scrying Mirror and Hand Fasting. Okay, my pile 3s. So, what does the universe have to say to you? For a lot of you, you have recently met someone or started dating someone who has sparked a romantic interest in you. You may really like this person. For others of you, you've been thinking about romance a lot recently. You've been thinking about how much you would like to be in a relationship. But for everyone here, there is this feeling that you cannot have a healthy relationship. There's this feeling that none of them have ever worked out in the past. There's this feeling like love is a battlefield, to quote Pat Benatar. And in order to win, you have to be on guard constantly and vigilant. And otherwise, you will be taken advantage of, or you will be stabbed in the back. And maybe that speaks to the level of your past experiences. Maybe you've been cheated on in the past. Maybe you've been lied to a lot. Maybe you feel like you've been manipulated. But because of that, you have some serious trust issues. And I think you regard anyone that maybe approaches you or is interested in you romantically in any kind of way with a high level of suspicion, which is making it a little bit difficult for someone to be in your life. So the first card that we have here is the 6 of Wands, which is a card about victory. And it's followed by the 2 of Cups, which is a card about romantic partnerships and union. And these are both really beautiful cards. And this indicates to me, again, victory in relationships. So if there's a particular person on your mind where maybe you've started dating them and you feel like they're too good to be true, or there's got to be something wrong, and you're kind of looking for reasons to not trust them, you are in the process of self-sabotaging because you want to protect yourself. And that's understandable. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes from the past. You don't want to be taken for a ride. But also, because you are being hypervigilant, you are kind of overlooking the fact that this person is actually really good for you. And with the Judgment card here in the middle, I do think that this is kind of a divinely guided connection. I do think that this is someone that is meant to be in your life, at least for a while. I think this is someone that teaches you a lot about love and relationships, and in particular, how they can be successful and how to model a healthy romantic relationship in your life. Now, the other side of this Judgment card is that obviously there is this feeling of judgment coming from you where you are scrutinizing everything they say, you're reading really deeply into it, and you are kind of finding reasons to not trust them, because it's easier to find reasons to distance yourself or to kind of break things off with someone instead of allowing yourself to give in and be trusting and be open and then have to experience that hurt after. And unfortunately, that's just a tenet of love. In order to really be known, you have to open yourself up and be vulnerable, which comes with the possibility of being hurt. Now, like I said, for some of you, you might not have a particular person. This is just this feeling that you have that you would like to be in a relationship. But the reality of the situation is that you are so afraid of being vulnerable or allowing yourself to be hurt that you are kind of unfairly casting people off before they even really have the chance to come into your life or approach you. And that's also indicated here by this Five of Swords and this Eight of Swords. So the Five of Swords is a card that is about betrayal and being stabbed in the back. If you look at this card, this person is holding three swords. The Three of Swords in tarot is the card of heartbreak. And the two people in the background of this card are kind of walking away, very sad, feeling defeated. So you feel like you've had to really be vigilant and maybe try to break things off or try to end things before you can be hurt. Because I think in the past you have been hurt. So it's easier for you to end things before they start, out of fear of being hurt again. And I think that is a pattern that you have, and that's also one of the reasons why your romantic life has not really taken off recently. And with the Eight of Swords here, this indicates that this is really a limitation that you have put on yourself. If you look at this card, this person is blindfolded, they're tied up, they're surrounded by the Eight Swords. But what they don't realize is that if they just, took off the blindfold, they could easily get around these Eight Swords. It's not really stopping them from doing anything. And in fact, behind them is this really beautiful castle that they could reach. They could reach this really beautiful, cinematic, foundational, well-built relationship if they just removed these self-imposed limitations. And that is really the message that the universe has for you, is that you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable in order to have the kind of romantic relationship that you want. Period. And I know that's very difficult, and it's natural to want to protect yourself, but you are protecting yourself so much that you have become stagnant. You have built your walls up so high that no one can get over it. And that's also coming through in the pile marker that you selected, this Make a Move, which is all about getting over inertia. It's saying, don't stand still for too long. You need to be making progress, and at this time you're not making progress in your love life because you are continuously looking for reasons why you cannot trust other people, or you are looking for excuses to shut down or not make yourself available, and then you're wondering why it's not working out. And it feels almost like it feeds into your feelings of limitations, like because things don't work out, then you're like, oh, it's because I'm not good enough, or everyone's going to abandon me in the end, and it's making you want to withdraw more. And so it's just this kind of never-ending negative cycle. And with your Witch's Wisdom card here, the first one is Scrying Mirror, which says shadow. So this is all about working with and dealing with, overcoming these shadowy parts of yourself, this part of yourself that has such an intense fear of vulnerability, this part of yourself that is still harboring hurt and fear from past experiences and learning how to work through them. Because your second Witch's Wisdom card is Hand Fasting, which says union, and this is really about coming together in a romantic way. So until you learn how to deal with this shadowy part of yourself, you will not get this union that you have really been craving. And so that is your message from the universe. Thank you for watching my pile 3s. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 4, hibernation and regeneration, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 6 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Wands, and the 9 of Pentacles. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Witch's Cottage and Familiar. All right, my pile 4. So what message does the universe have for you? For this pile, I'm feeling that a lot of you recently have been through or currently dealing with grief of some variety. So it could be that maybe you lost someone who was close to you. You could have lost a pet for some of you. For others of you, I'm feeling more like this is a breakup. So it could be a romantic breakup or a friendship breakup. But either way, this is something that has been pretty difficult for you to go through. We start off your spread here with this 6 of Cups and this 3 of Swords. And the 3 of Swords is a card about heartbreak and grief, feeling like you've been stabbed in the heart, feeling really upset. And the 6 of Cups next to it is a card about nostalgia and reminiscing. So I think that for a lot of you, you have been playing out your relationship with this person, this pet, over and over again in your mind because you miss them, because it's really difficult being away from them or not having that relationship with them anymore. For a lot of you, I'm hearing that this was a breakup and it's been really difficult because they were also like your best friend. And so it's like you pick up your phone and you want to tell someone something, but you don't feel like you should have access to them anymore. And so it's really difficult to kind of put aside all of these warm, loving memories you have for this person that's represented by the 6 of Cups and just allow yourself to deal with the fact that this is over. And with the 2 of Swords in the middle of your spread here, the 2 of Swords represents indecision. But when I see it in the middle of the spread, I see it as unable to decide between the two sides here. So part of you is really stuck in this grief. You keep thinking, replaying memories, thinking about what you could have done differently. You just feel really sad and heartbroken. But the other side of you knows that eventually you will have to pick up with your life and move on. If it was a breakup, you know that you can't salvage what was in the past. If it was a friend breakup, a romantic breakup, you have to be able to move on and live with yourself eventually. If this is grief because you have lost like a family member or a pet or something, this is the acknowledgement that it's always going to hurt, but I can't just stop my life. My life will continue to go on, and the person or my pet, whoever it was that is gone now, would want me to continue to live a full life. And so that's really being represented here by this 3 of Wands and this 9 of Pentacles, because the 3 of Wands is a card about looking towards the future and seeing your manifestations come in, seeing the things that you've planned for yourself coming true, traveling. So really looking forward to the future instead of just living completely in the grief, seeing that there are positive things out there for you. And in particular, in the end here, this 9 of Pentacles, which is one of my favorite cards in the tarot, is about independence, luxury, feeling really good where you are, feeling really good within yourself and in your body and where you are at in your life. And if you look at the bottom of this card here, there is a snail. Obviously, snails are really slow. So this was not something that happened overnight. This is something that you have to gradually work yourself up to. You have to build yourself up for, where you feel comfortable on your own carrying the memory of this person, of your relationship, of your friendship, but still feeling good about where you are at right now. And so what really is the message from the universe is this pile marker that you selected, hibernation and regeneration, which is really about taking a step back and allowing yourself to grieve, but also finding ways to tap into things that will still bring you joy. So it's okay to have a cry sesh. It's okay to feel a lot of grief. It's okay to feel really terrible, but you have to also find a way to take care of yourself or find something that brings you joy, because that's really the first step in coming closer to the second side of this tarot spread, which is the Three of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, where you feel more comfortable about your future, you feel more optimistic, you feel like you have more comfort in being alone. And another thing about this card is it reminds me of the Four of Swords in the tarot, which is a card about rest and taking a break from the battle, so to speak. And the Four of Swords comes after the Three of Swords, the heartbreak, the grief. So really, this is about you learning to take care of yourself. And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be that you feel so sad that you can't even get out of bed. And so the one thing that you've decided to do is, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to take like a 5-minute shower, and I'm going to listen to a song I really like. And maybe it starts off as small as that, but eventually it will get easier, and it will be much easier to put all of that love, all of that attention, all of that energy you had for this person back into yourself, as evidenced by the Nine of Pentacles. So your first Witch's Wisdom card is Witch's Cottage Security. And this is really a card about knowing that you are safe, knowing that there are still good things for you and that your life will continue on. And also it is about trying to find the things that bring you joy once again, trying to find the things that feel like they give you a purpose. So again, that can be as small as just listening to a song you really like. It can be having a really good iced coffee. It can be taking a walk outside. And for your second Witch's Wisdom card, we have Familiar Guardian. And for a lot of you, I'm hearing that this is just a reminder about your pet, if you have a pet, or if this is grief because your pet passed away. It's this reminder that, first of all, your pet is always with you and they want you to be happy. And also rely on your pet for the emotional support. If you look at the pile marker you selected, this person is sleeping on the ground with their cat. So allow your animal to comfort you if you have a pet. Maybe that's something that you find joy in, is spending time with them. And that's one of the things that kind of brings you past this level of grief and moves you closer towards being able to really invest all of that love and energy back into yourself. All right, my pile fours, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care.